one of these two fighters has been written off almost completely, and I feel bad, but I also feel like some things were exposed that does give us every right to sit here and say like, hey man, are you as legit as we thought you were, right? So we have number 3 ranked Dominick the Devastator Reyes facing off against Jiri Prochazka, who is ranked number 5 in the light heavyweight division, AJ. And what I see here is either one individual who is almost at the pinnacle of the light heavyweight division in the UFC is going to take a nosedive, and the other one is going to ascent straight up to being more or less one of the next challengers for the light heavyweight belt, right? So Dominick Reyes is 12-2. Jiri Prochazka, 27-3-1, man. I know you're a big fan of Prochazka, AJ, so I want to ask you if you could shed a little bit of insight for the people who maybe don't know. Why did Jiri Prochazka choose years ago to say, you know what, man, I'd rather not join the UFC now. Give me a little more experience. Let me go win not only the light heavyweight, but the heavyweight belt in Ryzen. Let me go have Muay Thai, bouts. 2011 Muay Thai Czech national champion. Just give me some words on the prospect that is Jiri Prochazka.
I mean, that's the question, right? Like, is it better to have more variety and more numbers in the opponents, or is it better to have a smaller number but higher quality? I mean, that's really the what we're going to see in this whole fight is Dominick Reyes has a more precise, rougher outing in his last 5 than Jiri Prochazka. But Yuri's been doing it for a long time, and at the pinnacle of every other organization, basically every other organization that's out there. Yuri's a tough outing. He's a very weird puzzle to solve because, man, he can hit hard and he can take a crack, and he's one of those very big fighters who's very light and very fast. His most dangerous spot is when he's like 3 feet away from you. Like almost in that no man's land, where both Dominick Reyes is also very devastating in the no man's land, but Jiri can leap in from these explosive moments or from that like 3 feet away range and just put you out, man. Multiple flying knee KO highlights, man. This dude's for real. And I mean, he took the Israel Adesanya approach. Let me go out there, let me put some work in, learn. I mean, they say on the job learning is sometimes the best job, but man, when your job is getting KO'd, it's probably not the best to learn in front of millions and millions of fans. Go learn it with somebody who's maybe a little more, take the boxing approach. Sure. Learn, No,
I totally feel you, man. The question is, are we watching Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang? Again, is this what we're seeing? Right? Didn't I make the same argument? I was like, well, Rose Namajunas, she's 9-4, you know what I mean? But she's grew up in the UFC, Ultimate Fighter, you know what I mean? All that good stuff, right? And Weili Zhang, literally 16 of her 21 wins were in China or in Korea or in Thailand. So it's kind of that same. Now, is that the reason why Weili Zhang lost? I mean, no, absolutely not. She got caught with a head kick in the beginning of the fight, and that just was what it was. It was just one mistake cost you at the highest level of the game. However, Jiri Prochazka, he tends to have a style that is very exploitable, but like no one is able to exploit it. You know what I mean? So let's talk methodology, right? Obviously a smaller sample size, but tougher opposition, as you noted. And Dominick Reyes, who has 7 knockouts, 2 submissions, 3 decisions. He's been knocked out once, and he's only lost 1 decision. That was against John Jones, right? Now, Jiri Prochazka, 24 knockouts, 2 submissions, 1 decision, been knocked out twice, submitted once, never lost a decision because his fights generally don't go to decision, right? But we do have to talk about that last 5 just a little bit more, AJ. Last 5 for Jiri Prochazka has an average age of 34.8 years. He's fighting old men, man. I'm not saying he's fighting cans, but let a real prospect go over to Bellator and fight all the people who used to be UFC ready and all that good stuff, who are just like not really at the same caliber. Are all wins created equal? And we obviously know the answer is no. That's not the case. However, like I said, man, Dominick Reyes should not be discounted here because it feels like the world has written him off. You lose to John Jones. I don't think you can be mad at anybody for losing to John Jones, because who has beat John Jones? Nobody. Mike Hamill, but that doesn't count because he got a win for getting elbowed in his head. You know what I mean? So that's the thing for Dominick Reyes, right? Then he loses to Jan Blachowicz. But this was the thing that really stood out to me, AJ. Dominick Reyes isn't the biggest 205er. You know what I mean? He's got a really long torso, right? He's long. He's really quick, really agile, all that good stuff. But he's not the biggest. And he really struggled against Jan Blachowicz when he felt the legendary Polish power that is behind Jan Blachowicz. Now, what I saw against Jan Blachowicz was a Dominick Reyes who respected his opponent, right? I saw a Dominick Reyes who says, you know what, man, like I got to really be careful. We're going to really just kind of play it out. I'm going to dance with this dude. Let's see what happens. Against John Jones, I saw none of that. I saw a man who absolutely did not respect his opponent, who says, I'm just going to walk forward. I'm going to keep you on your back foot, and I'm going to just put a pace on you for 5 rounds. So if we see that Dominick Reyes against this Jiri Prochazka, one of two things could happen. Dominick could get knocked out in the first round coming in on just some crazy shot, right? Obviously. Or Jiri Prochazka could be like, yo, what's happening? Why is this dude, you know what I mean, pressuring me? Why is he doing that? AJ, I know, you know, there's a lot of crazy fights happening all the time, but I was watching this fight last night. It was on One Championship, right? Individual by the name of Rug. And if you don't know who Rug is this huge, you know, dude, looks like a superhero, you know what I'm saying? He's fighting an individual with the last name of Grishchenko. And this dude, Rug, undefeated, right, monster. He just destroys everybody. He is a Senegal wrestling champion out there because they have their own style of wrestling in Senegal. But the point is that this dude walks down everybody, right? So just imagine, it's like a Yoel Romero, right? Walks down everybody. What did Paulo Costa do when he fought Yoel Romero? He walked down Romero, right? Rug got walked down in that fight, and he lost the fight because it was that moment of like, this doesn't happen to me. I walk everyone down. I'm the knockout fighter, right? So let me just ask you this, AJ, so we can really dive into this. What are the odds that Dominick Reyes shows us that he was the guy that we thought he was when he fought John Jones, when so many people thought that he beat John Jones via decision? Do you think that guy comes out? And if he does, what can he do to get the win against Jiri Prochazka? Because Jiri Prochazka has a style of, I'm going to lead with my face. It's very Stephen Wonderboy Thompson-like. I'm going to lead with my face, do crazy movements, and I'll eat 2-3 of your shots just so I can land one because I know I'm stronger than you and I know I'll knock your ass out even if I eat one. Give me some thoughts, AJ.
There's a couple gems you pointed out to that whole thing, Derek. But to answer your question, I do think if he wants to win, that's who he needs to come out. One thing I noted is Dominick Reyes needs more output. We need to see what he did in that John Jones fight, and he put it to John. Arguably won the fight. You know, that's arguable. You beat the champ to actually be the champ, but that's neither here nor there because what the big difference we saw is exactly that. He was putting it to John. He stayed on the front foot. He was aggressive. He was really putting it to him. Where in the Jan Blachowicz fight, Dominick Reyes was, like you said, respecting his opponent, and he felt that power, man, and he was shook. You could see it in his eyes. He was shook. Got the KO, lost, you know, that's how it goes. And one of the big things you were noting earlier is Jiri Prochazka, he's there to be hit. And so far, nobody's able to actually hurt him because he can just walk through these shots, eat 4 or 5 to the chin. Like you said, him and Giga, you pointed out earlier that him and Giga share a lot of the same similarities. One of those similarities is they'll see punches coming from their opponent and they'll headbutt it. Yeah. They'll see jabs coming, they'll just headbutt, like, and then I'll stop throwing that because it hurts. Yeah. You just hurt your hand. So, man, he's a savage. He's willing to literally lead with his face because nobody's hurt him yet. So Dominick Reyes, man, he needs to lead with that advantage, go out hot, heavy, and actually hurt Prochazka and bully the bully like we've seen, you know, multiple times done before to actually get the win and get the respect of the division. Because another litmus test here for, or I've been saying, you know, litmus test for the whole episode, but this is another one for Jiri because if he can go out, man, he's going to jump skyrockets, and we're going to see a crazy berserker versus Polish power here soon, man. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, you hit it on the head, right? You said he needs to get the respect of the division. Well, first, before he does that, you need to get the respect of Jiri Prochazka, because if Jiri Prochazka doesn't respect you, he's going to put your ass to sleep, right? Now, I do have to note this, because like I said, there's similarities, man. There's these weird parallels that happen in this sport where Jiri Prochazka, I said he's a Muay Thai champ, all that good stuff, right? Former Ryzen double champ, or not at the same time, but he was a champ at light heavyweight and heavyweight. But he has only fought in Europe, Asia, Germany, places like that. He's never fought in the United States. He fought in Abu Dhabi. That was his UFC debut, right? So it's another one. Weili Zhang, she made her USA debut and lost, right? Really confused when she's all like, yeah, and they're like, boo, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, who are you? You're not American. What are you talking about? You're in Florida, bro. Like, come on. Jiri Prochazka, how do you think he responds if he gets booed? Actually, there's no fans, so I take it back. None of that mean anything because there's no fans at this one. So see how UFC just teases us like that? And we're like, oh, God. Yeah, but what do you got, AJ?
I mean, it could make a difference because he is fighting in America for the first time. Whoever his, I don't have his country of origin. I thought it was like the Czech Republic or something. Yeah, but having to fly in from America, you know, it makes a difference. So we'll see how he does doing with the time lag. I don't know, man. I'm a big Prochazka fan, so it's going to be he's quite the entertainer. That's what I'm excited to see from him.
Yeah, it'll be a very entertaining fight. But let's dive into these numbers before we give our picks, AJ. So Reyes, obviously, he's a southpaw, right? He made his money off of that left kick, right? You know, using that left leg and roundhouse and body kicks. That's literally how he got the nickname Devastator, because he would just drop people with those, right? You get a little to the highest level of the game, which he has gotten in the light heavyweight division. It just stops working a little bit. You know what I mean? That's okay. But Jiri Prochazka, he's an orthodox. Reyes lands 4.5 significant strikes per minute, and Prochazka, he only had one fight in the UFC, so these are where these numbers are coming from. Against Volkan Ozdemir, no less. 5 significant strikes landed per minute at a 45% clip. 0 takedowns for either of these fighters. So when you play UFC, I tell you I'll be playing a video game, right? When you play UFC, Daniel Cormier, he's one of the commentators in the game, and he'll say on certain matchups, he'll be like, hey, leave that button, you know, don't even put tape over that button. You ain't pressing it because there ain't no takedowns in this fight. You're going to be striking it up, right? This is going to be one of those. So let me just note this, AJ. Both of these fighters have the same level of championship experience in their last 5. Both of them have challenged for a title or a fought where a title was involved twice in their last 5. Obviously, we could say Reyes was at a little higher level, right? You're not Ryzen. What happened when Manel Kape comes over, bantamweight champion from Ryzen, comes over to flyweight, loses twice? Well, last one was very questionable, but nonetheless. So CB Dollaway, are you familiar with CB Dollaway, AJ? Mm-hmm. Former UFC fighter, you know what I mean? He fought CB Dollaway, he knocked him out round 1. And when you see Prochazka hit people, it's just different, right? Reyes, he's quick, head movement, he'll 1, 2, 3, bah, 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 bah. That Prochazka, it's like 1. Sleep, just good night, you know what I mean? So with that being said, man, I don't know what else we have to talk about here, but give me your pick. Those are the numbers, right? A little bit of an age advantage for Prochazka. He's 28, Reyes is 31, both 6'4", 77-inch reach for Reyes, 80 for Prochazka. This is it. We just got to give a pick. You go first, AJ.
Yeah, man. One thing I wanted to know with Prochazka, why I really like his striking, he's really good at just stiffing you with the jab and leaving your chin up where he can hit you with that 2 coming in. Yep. It's one of his biggest thing. And normally you don't think a jab's that hard, but he'll literally stiff people. But they'll just sit there, man, and wait for that 2 to come in over the top. But me, for my pick, man, I'm really excited for this one. I got Prochazka KO round 2. Who you got?
You know what, man? This is a 5-round fight. I'm going Prochazka. I've been going back and forth on this one because I think Reyes really, really can win this fight. He has all the tools to win it, but I'm going Prochazka. I just think the power is going to be just a little too much. Knockout round 3. So obviously I'm expecting a lot of finishes, folks.